Muy buenas tardes, mi gente, con ustedes aquí la Comadre B with another episode of Comadriando aquí y con café. Today I have a very special guest. His name is Don Felipe, aka Don Felipe.
Yes, sir.
And he brought a guest.
Adrian Tapia, Tapp Enemy Rifa, Figaro Flyers.
Yes. I brought them here. They come as a together package, so we will get into that. But let's see, let's introduce yourself. Who are you? What are you? ¿A qué te dedicas? Cuéntame todo.
Sure. So my name is Philip Victor Colon. I'm a writer and publisher, and I've written comic books and books, children's books, lots of stuff, newspaper articles, newsletters, and my boy right here, Tapp, is a musician,
Yes.
a rhymer,
A musician.
long-time MC.
An artist, a todo le tiro y a nada le pego.
So do I, but that's what life is for, right? It's too short. You gotta dabble into everything. Why not? Yes.
Yeah, but I've also been doing like some clothing design recently, and so I'm kind of a jack of all trades, but the main focus I've been doing is writing and publishing.
For you guys that don't follow me on Instagram, I found them on Instagram. I had one like a giveaway that another author was giving out. Somehow he popped up. I don't know how it happened, but we found each other on Instagram, and here he is.
Thank you, social media.
Yes, it's like crazy. Social media's life now.
Yeah, Instagram,
everything.
right?
Yeah. So that's how he's here. That's how I met him.
Yeah.
I bought the book because, I love to read. So I felt like I should bring him on here because it's influential. Like, it really is. It's like, me personally, I'm very blunt and I don't like sugarcoating nothing. So when I'm reading your book, it's right up my alley. Like, it is what it is, So why not? Bring them on, let's talk about it. Then, I started seeing you have your awards and you did comic books and other stuff. So that's why I want to know who you are, and I want everybody to know who you are too.
Thank you.
Okay, as you guys know, the part of the show where I give my tumbler. This is the Comadre tumbler. I owe you one. I thought I had two, but the other one, I have women one and men one. So unless you want hearts.
You guys go for a wife or anybody?
I don't autograph them, so don't think this is me. When I get them made, my lady puts, the names that are for me, so don't think I'm all stuck up. Well, not
So
yet.
I gotta get you to autograph. You're on the side of the box.
Not yet, but I'll be famous after the movie.
Okay.
Yesterday I did a casting, so I'm going to be the Loco Llorona in the new movie.
Nice.
So yeah, see, these are more manly. The other one has like flowers and hearts and stuff. So just one thing, take a picture with it and tag me later.
Somebody who wants it, you can give it to somebody, and it's up to you.
Yeah, I got a wife, bro.
His wife or his wife. Nice. You gotta go come home with a
Okay,
gift.
well we'll give we'll give him that one. Just know that my intention was to have one for you, but there you go. You could drink out of it anyway.
Yeah, Marcella in here. Same mobile, thank you.
I'm a big time coffee person, and since it's Comadriando aquí con café, why not give out?
Okay.
I first officially started out with like mugs, but I was doing a bunch of giveaways on Instagram. Every time I would hit 1,000 followers, I would, put a little raffle kind of thing, and they would do it, and I would mail them, but they would get to their destination broken. So I was like, man. He's like, well, get something else, but what else is meaningful? Has more meaning behind it than coffee, like coffee cups,
So these are tougher, so they won't break.
Exactly.
Transition.
Yeah, no, I have cups that I've shipped to Canada, Mexico, like I'm everywhere. So yeah, it's like once they leave, they don't care no more. They're just like, just throw it in the bag, throw it in the mailbox. So
Those Amazon workers, man.
Yeah.
Someone was playing football with your stuff,
yeah. Yep. So that's a little story behind all that, because I know I do have a lot of new people that are probably like, where does all this come from? So you guys can know too. I'm gonna do my saludo. Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. So there, when you guys are drinking, be like, oh yeah.
Put my michelada in here.
It keeps them so cold. I'm not even lying. What's meant to be hot is hot. What's meant to be cold, put some ice cubes in there for hours, and I'm not playing. He drinks his coffee. He leaves in the morning at 5. It's like still about 9, 10, and he's still drinking. He's like, still real good. So they're good. They're durable stuff. Yeah.
Nice.
Thank you.
I'm not a coffee person. I'm a tea person, but I can use it for some tea.
Tea's perfect. So we're gonna do our saludos right now, like always. I want to give a saludo to my mom. Hi, Mom. I want to also give saludo out to all the new people I met yesterday. I met a group of it was crazy cool. So hi to you guys, Alonso and Edwin. Hi. Hope to work with you guys a lot and soon. You guys, would you like to have saludos thrown out there?
Well, now that you mentioned moms, I gotta say hi to my mom too. Irma Valdez, hi, Irma Valdez, I love you.
Yeah, shout out to my mom, Patricia Harris, my dad, Victor, in New York.
Oh, not including that. Arturo Tapia, hey, Dad, love you too, man.
Yeah.
So, yeah, let's get into your work. How did you get into this? What is your daily routine? Do you write all the time?
Yeah. To be honest with you, I should write all the time. I don't. I'm a little lazy sometimes. But when I started out, I actually started out writing comic books because I was a comic book collector ever since I was a little kid. And this comic book right here called Scarlet Fox is the first comic book that I wrote and published. And after doing several comic books, then I decided to do the book over here called The Good, the Bad, and the Chili. And this one won an International Latino Book Award and also a Latino Books into Movies Award. Yeah. And Tapp, he contributed lyrics to the book from his band Los Tumbados, which I used to follow quite regularly like several years ago. Unfortunately, it's crazy because in that book, the main character is from Mexico and he has to come over here to rescue his love because she gets kidnapped by a drug cartel and brought to the United States. But while he's here trying to rescue her, he gets deported. And so he has to come back here and still kind of rescue her and that kind of thing. And it's a trip because the band that Tapp was in, Los Tumbados, was one of their band members also got deported too to Mexico. As a matter of fact, and he's still what a coinky dink. And he's still in Mexico right now. So it's that whole, and just the experience that I had listening to his music and just living in the times that we are right now, got me to inspire me to write this story. Plus, since I started out with comic books and I like the art and that kind of thing, and I liked movies where they incorporated live action with cartoon like Cool World or Who Framed Roger Rabbit. But I had never really seen anything like that with from a Latino perspective. So that's why I wanted to make that, so that maybe that could be the foundation to that type of movie, So that I really would like to see it get into a movie.
That's why that was going to be my other question. What inspired you to use mascots? Because it's crazy the way they're in the mercado or whatever, and then they go into they become part of they live in the picture. Yeah. And then Frida Kahlo pops out, what the hell? And then you call her puta and everything else. It's hilarious to me.
I like that they mix in the art with the real people. And even in pop culture, since I grew up here in America, you always see Tony the Tiger and all the Kool-Aid Man and that kind of these are the characters that I grew up with. Always seeing these characters in commercials, and I wanted to see a real and I grew up with Speedy Gonzalez. Some people are offended by him, but to me, I don't know. I always thought he was cool because because he was the only Latino cartoon character basically, when I was growing up. And so I wanted to do something like that, but still have some kind of more of a message to the story, but still have that type of character, that type of fun, kind of crazy, Latino influenced cartoon character in the story.
I get it. I always sit here and I always think as kids, Disney a lot influences, the cartoon world
Sure.
with children.
Oh yeah.
Why don't they have people that look like us?
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially like, I'm not sure how old you guys are, but we're 40.
Yeah.
As a kid, you have the classics, Cinderella, you got even Aladdin. That was the only one that they really stepped out.
Sure.
Back then.
Yeah. Now they got Coco and.
Yes.
Up until recently, is when they started.
They have the Coco, and then a while back, what about maybe 10 years or so, they have the Princess Frog.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So it's like, okay, now they're opening up.
Sure.
But always as a kid, I always wondered myself, like, why don't they have anybody that looks like me?
Yeah.
And it's sad. It's really sad because it's not just black or just white. It's like, what about everybody in between?
Sure. And that's what inspired me to write my comic books actually too. Before doing the novelette, was to create these characters that were like Indian, Hispanic, that were superheroes.
Yeah.
Now you're seeing it more, but actually when I had started doing the comic books, this is going back some years to 2003. You didn't see that as often.
No.
But now you're seeing more the bigger companies, and this is the kind of thing that gets me a little bit though, is because now these bigger companies who were before neglecting to do that are now deciding to, okay, let's be diverse because it's sort of like the hip thing it's to do.
Yeah.
Where smaller companies like myself who have been like struggling, it's harder because we don't have that big budget like say Disney, or some of these other big companies to push our ethnic characters, So it's a challenge. It's a challenge being a self-publisher, And I'm sure Tapp could relate to that, being like not signed to a major label as an independent artist as well, It's a challenge doing the music and continuing to be able to create and that kind of thing. But we continue to do it because it's what we love to do. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
One of the beginning scenes right there when you're talking with the compadre, you mentioned Whittier Boulevard and all that. Are you a local in LA or where?
Actually, I'm originally from New York.
Yeah. I read the back of your. Okay, you came over here when you were 9.
When I was 9, so but that's 40 years ago. So I consider myself like a transplant, an immigrant now, and living in LA for 40 years. It rubs off on me.
So is that like your scene? You like that scene with the lowriders and cruising?
Yeah.
Who doesn't like to cruise?
It's funny because like in New York, I grew up in a part of Brooklyn which was called East New York, and I also grew up in a part of Manhattan too, where my dad lived, which was the Lower East Side. And now I live on the East Side, so it's like everywhere I go, I'm an East Sider. So
come out and play.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like I connect to the culture out here, the East Side culture, and it influences my art. And I love Mexican art too. Straight from Mexico too. I went down to a convention in Mexico City back in like 2004, and I met a lot of good artists down there, real talented artists, and just being around the culture in Mexico just really inspired me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know we pick up inspiration everywhere. Yeah.
Up here too with the Mexican American culture over here too.
Yeah. No, there's art literally everywhere you look. You just need to know how to spot it, you know? To me, I have an imagination for days, so I can make something out of nothing, and it's like the beautifulest thing to me. And everybody else is like, what the hell are you talking about? I was like, you won't get it. Never mind. Just leave me alone. Forget I even said anything. Yeah, so no, I get what you're saying. You're local here in LA, or where are you?
Born and raised in Northeast LA.
Okay. I'm not gangbanging though, alright? Don't think I'm gangbanging on you.
No, born and raised in Northeast LA around Highland Park.
Oh,
and I've been working with my man here for a long time. He first approached me when he had a record label going on.
Yeah. Oh, how fun!
I was the underground record label.
And he dug some of my music with Los Tumbados, and he asked for us to do some work, and that's where we hit it off. From then on, we've been friends and collaborating on different projects all this time. And then he asked me to help him out with this book, and I was like, yeah, man, whatever you want to do, let's do it.
Yeah. How fun!
Cool.
Yeah, that's really fun. Okay, so overall, we got your comics, we got the book.
Yeah.
How many pieces would you say you've written while you've been doing all your writing
Okay, with
career?
the comic books I've done, like, let's see, I would say about like 7 or 8 titles, different titles. And then with the novelette, that's my first novelette that I've written. I've written a couple children's books too, but I don't have them right here. Yeah, so that's what I've done so far.
You said novelette.
It's a novelette, yeah.
So there's novels and novelettes?
Yeah.
What is a novelette?
It's short.
Smaller.
Oh, okay, got
Yeah,
it.
so like a novel is supposed to be like 40,000 or more words, and my novelette is like 20,000 words. Yeah.
20,000?
20,000, yeah.
So it's short,
I can't
sweet.
even write a 100-page essay.
It was tough just doing the novelette, bro. That's why, my next, actually, like you're asking me, my next goal is to write a novel.
An actual novel.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
will it be about? Do you know yet?
Well, I don't know what the subject matter is going to be about, but I actually wanted to like model it after what they call light novels. And what light novels are like the novels that come out of Japan, where it's sort of like geared toward young readers.
Okay.
But they kind of incorporate like manga art into the book, so it's like a cross between a comic book and a regular book.
Are you
I thought you were
gonna?
gonna say. I thought you were gonna say less than 2 pounds. when
No,
you
no,
looked it up. Like, no.
that's what it's called, light novels. Yeah.
Is it gonna start backwards?
Nah, it would be red.
Yeah.
And the Japanese do it too. Backwards
Yeah.
like that too.
Yeah.
I think it would be the regular sort of the English way, but
Okay.
just in the style of it, of the light novels.
Okay.
That's what I'm going for, to hit that market, the young adult market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very important. Like I said before, I'm a big book freak. That's what I am.
That's
I
cool.
have a bunch here. I have a bunch at home. If I'm not reading an actual book, I'm reading articles. I'm like just reading all the time, and I just feel real sad because it seems like the youth nowadays don't care about reading anymore.
Yeah.
They don't care
Dying
about
art.
books. They don't care about anything besides social media
Right.
and what's achievement going on at school. And it is so sad because, yeah, like you said, it's a dying art. When my oldest was little, he used to read in my stomach when I was pregnant, all the time. When she got home from the hospital, we had a full-on library for her. Every day I would read to her.
Nice.
And she's very, very smart. And when she was small, back in high school, I took a creative writing little class. And the way the teacher would give us, the assignment was, here's a page, like a picture. Write a story of what's going on right there. And I started doing that with my little girl. And she would write so well. And chicken scratch because she was only 3-4 years old, but man, she would go off of this picture and just give us stories. Then she started school. She don't like it no more. We fight.
She's not into reading?
She'll read because she has to. She will read because the teacher tells her, hey, she ain't reading. And it's like we're constantly fighting with her. Like, you need to read again. You're a really good reader, you know? And it's just sad. Like, she doesn't care no more. She's like, whatever.
Oh yeah.
And then she'll get into like a certain part and then, oh, okay, mom. And it's like, well, keep reading. But yeah, it's just sad, you know? So yeah, I'm glad.
That's good how you had her, getting to creative writing,
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I did in high school too. I think that really contributed to me sort of finding myself as a writer too. I went to this private high school called the Delphi Academy, and what they did was, when you were in high school, you had to write a certain number of creative words of creative writing per month, and so that forced me to sort of, okay, I have to write. So it got me to kind of get my creative juices flowing and going and writing things out.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's important to have all that. Like I said, it's creative. Like our teacher used to be like, okay, what does it smell like where you're at? What is the weather like? Are you hot? Are you cold? Like, what time of the day is it? What does the sun look like outside? Like, and I sit there like, this is so stupid, and, but I would sit there and go off on that, and the assignment was only like a couple pages, and I would just write like a freaking chapter book, and she's like, okay, this is so good, and blah, 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 and they'd be like, you kiss ass, blah, blah. It's like, no, I'm just creative, all right? Leave me alone,
It's an art form when you read describes the scene and you visualize it. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
These words that you put together, you describe.
That's what I told him earlier. Like, you're so descriptive with it. Like, you feel like you're actually there. Like that part where they're smoking the pot and then Lula smacks him in the back. Oh my God, I'm just laughing. I was reading it to him. Like, man, he got hit hard.
That's good.
So yeah.
Right, and make it relatable and something that people can get some kind of entertainment.
And it's truthful, you know?
And have some truth to it, you know?
Yeah.
And a message and something that people can think about, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, you said you did classes and this and that. Did you take any other special classes, like, to become an accomplished, published author?
Well, yeah, actually, as a matter of fact, this book right here, Arena Grande, offered workshops, and I did some writing workshops with her. And that really helped me with structure and that kind of thing. But I also read a book about screenwriting by an author called Sid Field, and that book is really good, talking about structure. And I applied that formula and the knowledge that I got out of that book to my comic book writing, and so it just kind of built from there, to when I went to do my novelette. But like, I've always been a reader. I don't read as much as I probably should, you know. Like you say, like I get, like most people do nowadays, they're like on social media or they want to watch a movie.
Like a million distractions.
Yeah, a million distractions right now.
Netflix came on, that was it, huh? It's like you can find everything on there. It's like, man, like this one scrolls through it, it's like, just fucking find something already. Jeez, like there's so much to look at. I'm all, just find something. You're getting on my nerves.
So now I gotta discipline myself to read, and that's one thing that I could actually, would like to recommend to your viewers and to people, is just like, try to take maybe 30 minutes a day, or maybe every other day, just to sit down and read. You know, read something, whether it be like a newspaper, a magazine, a book, hopefully a book, something that's fictional or non-fiction about real life. All that kind of helps, so that you're just improving your vocabulary, your knowledge, and that kind of thing.
Broaden your horizons.
Broaden your horizons. You find out what other people are experiencing if you go read an autobiography or a biography and that kind of thing. So I would just like kind of highly recommend that. And I got to discipline myself to do that too, because sometimes I'm just like stuck on Instagram or Facebook, you know, and that kind of thing. And of course you're reading on social media, but it's not really real reading. You know? It's
ADHD reading.
Yeah. So are you a reader?
Yes.
You read a lot too?
And not a lot, probably not like my man here, but I was just I came across this book called The Jungle. You know The Jungle? About
I think I heard of that book.
It's about the way that they used to process meats back in the late 1800s, in the 19th century, and how because this guy wrote that book, his name is Upton St. Clair, because he wrote that book, the government, there was such an uproar about it with people that had learned about what was going on.
Yeah.
The government had to come back, and that's how like the USDA was created, a bunch of
FDA,
the USDA for the meats, to make sure that everything is done well, because the book explains how when there was no regulations, they just
dirty.
Cochinero.
It was just
and sickness, people, I'm sure.
So because of that book, The Jungle, and I'm almost done with it, but
take your notes, people.
It's
find something new out. Okay, that's cool. It's always good to get suggestions of reads. You know, there's always all kinds
of. I'd like to
of.
recommend Always Running too by Luis Rodriguez. Great book.
Great guy too.
Yeah.
We met him 2 years ago when he was running for governor right here down the street. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, he was talking one time too about a book that he had wrote, and they did a big old scandalo. They pulled it and all kinds of stuff too.
I think it was Always Running, right?
Was it this one?
No.
It was another one.
I have that book too.
We have this one. Yeah, he reads it.
I'm not sure exactly what book it was. But
I think I remember him saying too that this book, Always Running, was like the most stolen book from the library.
Yeah, he did mention that.
That's an interesting statistic.
Instead of just buying it, like, why you gotta go steal it from the library? Now nobody can read it. Yeah, no, that's very neat. So, I know I asked you before, but on a regular, what does your day consist of?
Okay. I'm a writer, right? But right now, since 2017, I've had some health issues, and I'm on dialysis 3 times a week. So Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I have to go to clean my blood because I'm diabetic, and I went for many years being diabetic and not really taking care of my sugar, and it damaged my kidneys. So now I'm on dialysis, and I'm on a waiting list for a kidney transplant. And I've been on a waiting list for about 7 years now. So hopefully, if they're telling me that I'm on like the top of the list now, so it should be happening soon. So right now, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I'm doing dialysis, and then Tuesdays, Thursdays, and like on the weekends, then I have time to like sit down and really read and write and work on different projects and that kind of thing. I've been doing some more clothing design right now for ladies. It's called Lady Rainbow. You can see it on Instagram. Just like tank tops and t-shirts and stuff like that. Being that I'm like sort of dealing with my health right now, I'm kind of taking a little break from the writing, but I hope to get back into the writing really soon. As a matter of fact, though, right now I'm a judge for a film festival that's going to be taking place in August 8th to the 11th. It's called the Hub City Film Festival. And so that's pretty cool. I just started doing that, first time I've ever been a judge for a film festival. So I've been like judging short films from like Spain, Armenia, Italy, France, a few from the United States that are like fiction films and short documentary films. So I've been doing that, and that's been pretty cool.
And how do you judge them? Like, this is good, you suck.
Well, it's kind of like that, yeah. But it breaks it down to like, so like when I watch a short film, I have to evaluate it as far as like, how is the direction, how is the production, how is the writing, how is the sound, how is the music, everything that goes into any type of film or production, that kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right now that you said work from Armenia,
yeah,
you just reminded me that you had some rapper dudes you were trying to work with some Armenians.
Yeah.
What happened to those guys?
They were called the Twins, and I never got to work with them, but I was interested.
I remember you showing me the stuff.
Yeah. I think they're around.
They were out of Glendale, huh? What else? Yeah. I remember you telling me, check these guys out.
Yeah, the Twins.
Were they good though?
Yeah, they were good. They were called the Twins, and they were very like Armenian power type of rap and everything like that.
Armenia, you can tell me a line because
there's a new guy out called his name is Super Sako.
Rapper?
Yeah, Armenian rapper. Yeah,
Super Sako?
Super Sako. Yeah, Super Sako. Look him up on
How's
YouTube.
that? SACO or what is it?
Let me look on my YouTube. I have a background in executive production and music, so like I always liked rap from different cultures.
Yeah.
So like with Los Tumbados, they were very focused on rap in Spanish, right? Mm-hmm. And so then when I would hear somebody rapping and representing Armenia, I was like, oh shit, this is something different, you know? And then even like there's a dude, there's a couple of dudes actually in Japan. I like listening to Japanese music. From France, MC Solar. You ever heard MC Solar?
Out of France?
Out of France, yeah. And so there's a lot of good international rappers. I don't understand sometimes what they're saying.
But the music is good.
I always liked how you've always had an ear out for like different stuff.
Yeah.
We're music people at our house. Music on all freaking day. As a matter of fact, when my little baby, the little one, was born, bringing my kid from Upland here to Pomona was a commute. We would do about 40 minutes round trip every freaking morning and afternoon. She would hate the car seat. And I'm talking about baby, like 10 days old.
Yeah.
I just put music on loud and that's it.
That
she just shut up. And I'm like, oh, okay.
That works.
That's it. Music. They shut up, both of them, because they're mean. They fight with each other all day long. I just put the music on and everybody's just quiet. And next thing you know, they're just friends and everybody's just singing. Like, that's what we do.
What would you put on for that?
We put everything. We listen to literally everything. I listen to
a diverse.
Yeah. But no, we go from like Vicente Fernandez to Black Sabbath. Like we have our shuffle playlist make you cry, make you laugh, make you sad, all at once. They're just like,
me
what?
Too. I'm sure this guy is
Yeah.
the same. But
Yeah.
And it helps with a lot. Like, you know, like say cleaning, we'll put this on. You know, I write a lot, I do this and that, put this on, you know, it just triggers my intention for the day, and then we'll go off of that and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we listen to everything. Music's on all day long, and yeah, it keeps us friends. If not, we'd probably kill each other
It's so
already.
powerful, you know?
It is.
Yeah, it really can change your mood, you know, change how you're feeling just by listening to a certain song.
And it's an art, like a big art, I think.
Yeah.
Because if you are feeling heartbroken, you listen to that song and you'll be even more heartbroken.
Yeah.
You want to get in a better place, listen to this, get in a better place.
or if you want to work out, and
Yes.
you want to go, you know.
Yeah.
You're getting kill.
Some of it down. Speaking
Yes.
Yeah.
Do a little workout, whatever, you know.
Yeah, no, I agree with you guys on that. And yeah, music's very powerful, important, and it's the biggest art, I think, too, aside from vision.
Yeah.
So when you're gonna write something, how do you come to a conclusion? Okay, this is what I'm gonna write about next.
Yeah.
And when you do, how long do you study that particular topic before you get into it?
Okay. Let's see. So I can tell you how I went with the process with the good, the bad, and the chili.
Okay.
So with the good, the bad, and the chili, I actually saw an image like this of a chili pepper with a sombrero on it, and I was like, man, that is a cool character. That whatever kind of story this character would be in would be cool. So it was just the character that I started out with, nothing else. And then from the character, I said, okay, well, what kind of story could this guy be in? And I think, okay, maybe some kind of adventure story, because I like to write comic books, right? And then at the time, the cartels were big in the media, what was happening with the drug trade and that kind of thing. So I was like, how can I incorporate that into a story that's like an adventure, and then have like a cool ass chili pepper character in it that represents Latino culture, that's funny, but at the same time, I can have a little message into the story. So that's how that sort of developed, and then I would just start writing the story and getting different ideas from movies or comic books or other books that I read, you know, to create the story.
Where did the elote come from?
The elote came from like also just I wanted to have him have like a buddy, you know, like a little homie that he hung out with, that he got along with, and that you could sort of kind of get an understanding of who he was. Yeah, go on an adventure, you know. And just to let you know too, I was a intern on the First Friday movie with Ice Cube and Chris Tucker.
Oh, okay.
So like I wanted to actually put a little bit of that influence.
Yeah, because that's the feel it has when they're sitting there just hanging out.
That's where I got it from, was from the little Friday, the whole scene where they're on the stoop in front. Yeah,
that's exactly the feel you gave it too, by the way.
Oh,
yeah,
thank you. Yeah. So I'm a fan of that movie and the Cheech and Chong movies. So like I wanted to, that definitely influenced me in creating this character and story. Yeah, but I wanted to kind of do it my style, you know. So, but those are definitely the influences that I had.
Yeah, that's cool.
Was that logo you were driving past the Mexican restaurant? Was it Taco Fiesta?
You know what? It's funny because I see that guy used after I published, my book.
The same logo? Or similar to it?
Similar character, like the chili pepper with the
sombrero.
Yeah, like on my book, I actually hired an artist to do this, but
so it's an original.
This is an original piece, you know. So I could always use it because I was thinking like, what if I'm gonna do T-shirts or mugs and stuff like that? I don't want to get into trouble. You know what I mean? But the original image, it was done by an artist named Memo Alvarez, I think his name is. And I actually wound up licensing other images from him for other projects and stuff like that. Oh, but it was a chili pepper with his tongue out, and it was on fire, and it looked like so cool. And I was like, this character would just make a great story. So that's what influenced me on writing this. So I just kind of made my own chili pepper character.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, which is a death metal band out of Southgate. and also with another group which is my own called the Figueroa Flyers, which is out of Northeast LA. And it gets a little hard trying to wear so many hats, but you know, when you like what you do, you love what you do, you're gonna find a way to do it.
Yeah.
But Enemy Rifa is a band that when I was with Los Tumbados, they used to invite us on to do shows all the time. They'd be out like doing shows in Southgate, and we'd be out towards more of the east side. And because we did so many shows together and always had a contact, their bass player quit, and I happened to be. Oh, we met at a Dodgers opening day. Mm-hmm. We were together and they were like, "Hey, we just lost so and so, and what's up? You want to join on?" I was like, "Let's go."
Do you only play bass, or you play other instruments?
I play bass guitar, and I do the vocals for with Enemy now too. But I rap and I sing.
This fool can rap.
And I do a little
English and Spanish.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I play. I dabble with the other instruments, like when we're putting together music, but my main one is the bass guitar.
Bass guitar.
And
that's why the picture in the back, guys. I'll put it on so you can see it.
Yeah.
There's a group called Delinquent Habits. I don't know if you know Delinquent Habits.
Of course.
The Blaxican, he did a song with the Blaxican too.
Oh, really?
With Los Tumbados.
Yeah, he was. He came on and he heard our stuff and he liked our stuff, and we were supposed to go on a little tour with those guys and Psycho Realm and a couple of heads that were doing their thing at the time, and then 9/11 happened.
Oh.
Yeah, and that kind of shot everything down, and that's when around we were doing the brew run and all that too, right?
Yeah.
The video.
Yeah.
And that kind of shut all that down, and we just went on our own thing. So Los Tumbados kept doing their thing. We put out a couple albums, and then that kind of started fizzing out, and that's when Enemy Rifa asked me to join on with them. So I've been on with them, and I also started another group called the Figueroa Flyers, which is about to drop a video soon called Gambling Man.
Oh, fun.
Which is going to be coming up maybe in the next couple of weeks. And just, you know, like we were saying, when you're a creator, you just create, and that's...
It comes natural, and it's fun. It's not harder work. I don't know, that's the way I see it.
Because I do clothing, I do comic books, music.
We dabble.
We dabble, yeah.
That's what life is for, though. Like, I'm going to be 40 in, like, 5 months. Okay. And I've had a bucket list for years, but I'm scared to do things. I'm so, like, what if?
Don't be
I'm
scared.
done with the what if. I'm just gonna do it and
do it. Yeah, because later on you'll be thinking like, damn, I shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Yeah, and I'm old now. I'm old. You know, I'm not old, but I'm old.
Yeah,
you know, and it's like you just sit here, like I sit here, like
ya estamos más pa allá que
yes, with the pata in the oil already. You know, and it's like fuck. I've wasted so much time doing nothing. I could have been something, but I'm sitting here like. No, or this.
Never too late though.
Never too late. Forever, my excuse has always been my kids, because I'm a real mom. I'm not just like the fake social media moms that my kids are everything and they're at the club all weekend. No, that's not me. Like I've been a mom, but I can be a mom and everything else too. You know, my kids, like right now they're with my mom. If they're not with my mom, they're with him, with us. That's it. Nothing else. I don't leave them unattended. I don't leave them hanging for any, like, I'm there. The oldest one says I'm real annoying because I'm just on her. I only have one job in this lifetime, and those are my freaking kids. If I can't do that, then I'm a real failure, I think, you know? So, yeah, it's time to just stop blaming my kids that I can't because I'm a mom. Like,
you know what, I just, like, talking about how we're getting older and everything, I just seen Ice-T.
Yeah.
Ice-T is going on a tour with his old band Body Count.
What?
And you know, shout out to my man Ice-T. That dude's gotta be pushing some age.
Yeah.
I was
about 60, right?
Older?
I was a little guy when Colors and all that other stuff came out.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, damn, this dude is still going. Shit, why not? We can still keep it moving.
Sure.
So it's all about, you know, they say age is nothing but a number, and as long as you're still able to move and make it happen, then let's make it happen.
Look at Harrison Ford. They just made an Indiana Jones movie not too
long ago. Really?
Yeah.
I just seen Eddie Murphy's about to do Beverly Hills Cop. He's about to do a new one.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, That guy must be
They may need to get some stunt doubles for us, but we're still gonna do it.
Yeah.
No, arthritis kicked in, huh? Like, yeah, no, it is what it is, and life goes on, and those what ifs need to just stop. And me personally, my mom excuse is done already. Like, yeah, no, just stop already.
Well, that's good though. No, it's good to be a good mom and take care of your kids and be involved with their life. But it's also good to, schedule some time for yourself and your goals also.
See, and that's what I don't have.
It's important for them for them to see you also pursuing your goals, because that inspires them as well.
And you know what? I was just talking to my mom the other day. Like, my mom's my bestie. That's it. Like, I have no friends.
Okay.
And I tell her that, like, my kid just graduated, and since they were little, I tell them, you have no option about college or no. We are gonna bust our ass to put you guys through school. You're gonna get a degree of some sort.
That's cool.
You are women, because they're both girls. You will decide when the time is right whether you're gonna use whatever we give you or you're gonna decide to stay at home. To me, everybody, to each their own,
Yeah.
But I don't want them later to feel like my parents didn't give me education. They didn't give me an option.
Right.
I'm stuck here now, I'm not gonna say all relationships are horrible. They're not. But a lot of the times I feel like women always have the losing side because we're home. We don't work, we don't this, we don't that, and we're forced to want to stay
in our
there.
culture. Coming
Exactly.
from the old school Mexican culture, Latino style, where the man is the provider, y el que va y se chinga, and then the woman is, cooking and that the.
See, we're still old school in that way. My husband, he busts 12-hour days. It works out good. We could do better. But I don't trust no one with my kids. My baby's going to kinder, so we'll see how this goes now. But yeah, it's really hard, and I just feel like preparing your daughters more. You guys can go to any job and you'll be successful if you're taught the right way and you're showed the skill.
Yeah.
But with us, we don't, there's still that whole, you're a vieja, get out of here. Like, it's sad,
More of a hurdle for.
And I just tell my mom, like, las voy a preparar a ellas if they want to take their education, they want to start their family first, but at least they can be prepared in that sense to where they're not left out in the cold and stuck in a relationship they don't want to be in because they can't do for themselves,
Sure.
So.
And what I like to do in my stories too is have very strong female characters. That's another thing.
La Luna.
That kind of aligns with what you're saying about educating females and our children and our daughters and sons and whatnot. But I like to have strong female characters, to put that out there so that young girls can see that.
Yeah.
Some of them are a little sexy too, but I like
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
I like to have a strong female character so that women can relate to that, girls can relate to that and see that and as an example, or as something that they can look at that's different from everything else.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Like, another example, I've been doing these interviews. My show hasn't been the way I've planned it because interviewing people is really hard. You get stories, people talk to you, but when it's time to sit down in front of the camera, nobody wants to. So it's really hard to try to make a show around people that don't want to talk in public.
Get them to talk.
To talk in front of people. Yeah. So, I took it on a different turn. I do a lot of, like, older stories. My goal in life eventually is to be a historian one day. I love history, local history even more.
Nice.
So that's my main podcast that I talk about. But my whole thing always has been what's going on in the area, our local celebrities, So the younger people that do come about my show can see that there's a variety of everything.
Nice.
So that's where I'm at with that, and I work close. When I first started, there was a certain somebody that told me, your show ain't gonna go far because you're not sexy, you're not naked. You're not showing anything. And I said, that's the point of it. Like, my show is not to be for just men or an only fans only kind of deal. But my mom's my freaking only supporter right now. Like, what am I going to show my mom that she wants to look at? But no, the thing is to be in a positive way, grab positive audience, learn together. Because a lot of stuff I don't know about, but I read something, it sparks my interest. I was telling trip out, this and this happened here. Really, and then you look more into it, and there's so much local history period that has happened that we don't know about. So let's talk about that, and so girls could see that you can be something without having to give something or show everything.
Sure.
And it's like a lot of self-respect behind it, I think.
Yeah.
Because once again, we're always at the losing end.
Yeah.
You guys see some, and this, so it's like, no, we have brains too. You don't need to show everything.
Yeah.
And that's like, too, my followers on Instagram will see, I got published in a magazine this week.
Nice.
Not showing anything. I don't show anything. First of all, I'm embarrassed. Second of all, nobody got to see nothing. And that's the positive in it, that women don't need to feel sexualized to do things.
You did a
You could do
fashion show
it.
recently too, right?
I was.
Yeah, I seen that. On
All before
Instagram.
40.
Yeah.
And I'm coming out in a movie too.
Nice.
Yesterday I did the casting and everything, and I'm the main character. I'm going to be the Llorona. So I'm going to just be killing people left and right. Like, that's it. Boom. I'm not an actress, guys, so bear with
You gotta
me.
start somewhere.
I probably won't be in another movie either, but this one is just making my self-esteem. Like, my head don't even fit in here right now.
Nice.
So, yeah, it's pretty fun, and like you said, you gotta dabble into everything.
Yeah.
Especially knowing that life is short, come illnesses, come this, come that. Then you can't, and then you're stuck with the whole, man, now I can't, I should have.
Yeah, sure.
So, yeah, I think
But
that's
it's
where...
never too late
Yeah.
to get started on your dreams and what you want to accomplish in life, Just little by little, schedule some time to do it and work on it,
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
my
yeah.
goals are getting there. They're very, very close, so step by step.
good.
And, yeah, I was going to ask you, what spiked you to write?
Let's see, to write, because I wanted to see characters that I didn't see, and I love being entertained by music, movies, comic books, and sometimes I would not see characters that reflected me culturally or even other cultures, and it was very just sort of white,
Yeah.
It has changed over the past few years,
Yeah.
but when I grew up in the 80s and 90s, it was a lot of stuff was very sort of white, and maybe if there was somebody black or Hispanic, they were what they would call like a token, just sort of in there as a supporting character.
Like the Latino guy on Sesame Street.
Yeah,
there was
like
the
that.
one dude in there.
Yeah.
You remember?
No.
In Sesame Street,
I forgot
everybody
his name,
was
but
white, and they had the one black guy, and they had the one Latino who would
I
come
remember
on and
Gordon was the name of the black dude.
yeah.
It was Gordon.
And then they had the Hispanic guy who would come on and throw a little Spanglish around.
Right.
Be like, oh, check that out, there's a dude speaking Spanglish.
Yeah.
Oh, he's one of us. Look, Mom.
So I wanted to make stories with that kind of character as the main character, And we're talking about with women, with the woman who's at the time that I started doing comic books and having the sexy, strong woman character, in the mainstream comic books and media was Tomb Raider and another one called Witchblade, and they've all been made into movies and television series. Catwoman and that kind of thing. Yeah. So
nice.
but then I wanted to make some so I'm mixed, right? So my dad's from Puerto Rico, but my mom's from an island called Trinidad.
Yeah.
So my mother has like Indian heritage in her. Trinidadian people have ancestry from South India, and I grew up here in the States and in American schools, and I never learned anything about that. And when my mom came over here, she kind of was became Americanized, and she wanted me to kind of not stand out, so she kind of, I don't know, just kind of had me kind of sort of fit in with how American culture is, and I didn't really learn about that culture. So not until I got older, I started being more interested in it. So I got books about it. I started to go to Artesia, where there's a little Indian community off of Pioneer Boulevard, and hanging out around there, and going to their bookstores, eating their food, and mixing in with that culture. And that's what kind of inspired me to do my first comic book, Scarlet Fox, because there's a Hindu goddess that becomes immortal, and then she becomes the international secret agent. Essentially, the superhero is an Indian woman, And I had never seen no superhero Indian.
Yeah.
Woman. I don't even think you really see it right now, but because now you see more Black Panther, right, and you see other Latino characters, but you don't really see much like East Indian heroines in popular culture, you know,
Like Bollywood type
type of stuff, right? But a superhero. Now you might see that over in India, they might make that type of story, but here in the U.S. you don't really see that, you know. As a matter of fact, there was a really good Indian movie I saw called Bahubali, and they actually came out with two like a part 1 and a part 2, and it's really good because it's like action and it's based on mythology. You guys gotta check it out. It's on Netflix. But anyways, I saw that movie years later. But before that, I wrote Scarlet Fox, which is that book where I wanted to have that Indian heroine. Yeah.
That's neat. How long did it take you to write that one?
Now that's funny because with that one, I actually got hired by a company to write.
Oh, okay.
And it was a company that had artists in Korea doing their work. So like I got just hired as a writer, and that was it. And they were planning on publishing it themselves. But what happened was the company, I guess, went out of business.
Oh.
And they had gotten my art actually all drawn for the comic book. And at the time, I was working doing medical billing. And I'm still single right now, but at the time I was single, and I was making good money doing medical billing. So what I did was I bought all of that art that they had hired artists to do for my book, and then I decided, okay, let me self-publish it myself. So that's what I did. Then I hired someone to put all the lettering in, and
Damn, how much
it was expensive, man.
To get all their
The
rights
first
on that?
comic book. Oh yeah, okay. So just to buy the art back from them was several $1,000s. I think it was at least maybe $5,000 I spent to just buy the art. It's probably might not cost them more. I'm not too sure. But then I also had to pay the letterer, and then to print it, you know, all on my own, you know.
Being a creator
Yeah,
gets
It's
pricey.
hard.
bro.
It's
Yeah,
hard.
yeah.
It's that whole you gotta invest money to make your money.
Yeah.
Yeah. How what year was that? How far back was
That's
this?
2003. So we're talking a little ways back, kids. But,
Yeah.
Yeah.
21 years
So
ago.
to do that now would be probably even more. So that's kind of why I transitioned over into writing just word books, because
It's
obviously
easier
it's cheaper because
and
you don't have
easier.
to pay as
Yeah.
many artists, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I still love comic books, man. Stan Lee really influenced me growing up with the Hulk, Spider-Man, Captain America. Always loved seeing them, their cartoons. I love the Marvel Studio movies right now, you know.
I'm gonna throw a saludo out there to a friend of mine. I still talk to him. We had our high school reunion 2 years ago now, Jorge Sanchez. So we run into each other and we message here and there on Instagram. When we were in elementary school, he used to bring his brother's comic books to school in the sleeves, right?
Yeah. We got
All
to see-
protective and all
Yeah.
secretive in there because he was sneaking them and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And he'd be like with his head down on the desk reading the comic on his lap. And then I'd be all intrigued, like, what is he doing down there? You know, I'd sit right next to him. I'm like, let me read one. He's all, you won't get it. It ain't for girls. I'm like, why? He's like, because you go back and forth. Just stop. And I'd be like, I want to read one. He would have a couple in his backpack. So as the teacher's in the front with the big old projector and alcohol and all that good stuff, he's over here reading stuff. And I'm just like being a hater, like, give me one, I want to read one. No, you won't get it. Leave me alone. Get away from me. But like, give me one or I'm telling. And he'd be like, oh, so he like looked through his little backpack. Here, don't put dents in it. Don't turn it too hard.
Right.
Blah, blah, blah. I'd be like, oh, God.
Mentality.
Oh, my God. I would sit there and I'd look and, yeah, it wasn't for me. I'd read it and it was
There
cool.
are a lot of female comic creators now.
Yeah. Now there is.
Now
Yeah.
there is. Latinas too.
But that back then, yeah, I was like,
I exhibit at the Latino Comic Expo that goes on yearly. And when I exhibit there, I see a lot of different tables with a lot of young Latinas doing their own comic books and that kind of thing. Yeah.
that's fun. That's good to know and get into. If any young ladies are watching us, look for information. It's everywhere now. It's so easy to come on, up on, I should say. And if that's where your heart is, do it. For me, it wasn't for me. I'll tell you,
okay.
it was too much back and forth, and they were fun though to look at. I'd rather look at the
Yeah, I have a
pictures.
friend that does comic books on Instagram. Her name's Jules Rivera. You guys can look at that. Yeah, she's a Puerto Rican comic artist.
Comic books on Instagram?
On Instagram, no, she does it like on Instagram. You know, like how you could slide across and it's like.
Oh, okay. So she'll take you through the story.
Yeah, you can slide across. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
We bought two comics for local history here in Pomona. It's a Latino woman too, but I cannot remember her name.
Oh, okay.
She's, I think, in Redlands or something.
Oh, cool.
And the comic's really cool. And that's what I told them, because I personally want to be a published author. I do. I had bought my first typewriter when I was 11 years old. So we're from La Puente. There was a swap meet out there, the violin. And my mom took us on a Saturday to walk and hang out and stuff. Me and my little sister, it was just two of us. And you know how there's those stands that sell the old junk and, you know, different stuff. There was a senor right there with a van, and he had a bunch of just junk. And there's this big old typewriter, and I wanted it. So I tell him, how much is it? My mom's over there like buying socks, and I'm like over here, how much is it, you know?
Yeah.
And I only had like $7, and he's like, oh, it's $37. And I was like, fuck, you know, like, what do I do? So I go to my mom, and my mom, do you have $30? So no. What do you need $30 for? I want that typewriter. So, ¿qué quieres este yonke and blah, blah, blah? And I'm like, because I want it. And she's like, no. So whatever, I was all heartbroken and crushed. And I told the señora, will you be here next Saturday? And he's like, yeah. So I was like, okay, I'll be back. And then he's like, whatever. You know, I'm 11 years old. Nobody cares. So, no, I couldn't get that freaking type. Like, I had to have it, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that night, my dad came home and I told him, I seen something I didn't want to tell him what it was, because then, you know, my mom already said it was junk.
Right.
So I was like, now if I tell him what it is, he's going to be like, what does she want? And he's going to be like, no. So I asked him for $30 because I had my 7.
Yeah.
So he gave it to me, and I told my mom, please, can you take me back to the Swami? I really want that typewriter.
Oh, wow.
My mom's like, it ain't going to be there. The man's not going to. He says he's there all the time.
Yeah.
So my mom took me, and I found my stupid typewriter. It was the biggest, ugliest thing ever. It weighed about 40-something pounds.
Yeah. Yeah.
I took it. I cleaned it. I had to keep reusing the ribbon, because obviously, where was I going to even find the ribbon? I tell my mom, like, how do I do this? So I discovered that putting alcohol and baby oil would revive the ink in it. And I started writing my own little book. And I would write every day, and man, I rewrote my book about maybe 10 times.
Okay.
And back then we used to hang out at our house a lot. My dad, you know, the family, every weekend they'd come and hang out and this and that. And I had my aunt, she passed away already, my tia Chita. And every time she'd come in the house, because I'd be in my room. Everybody's partying and the kids hanging out. I'd be in my room just writing my book again, rereading it and everything. And she'd come in, oh, you know, tell me what's going on now. So I'd read her the chapter I've been working on. She'd be all excited. And she'd tell me, she said, before I die, I need you to publish this book. I want to see it. I want to touch it. I want to read it. And I was like, I will, Tia, I will. And I never did. So it's like, she passed away 3 years ago. With the whole COVID, it took her. So, yeah, no, I always have it there in my head.
What was the book called?
Lost in the 50s. And it's ironically in a setting here. Huh?
Rockabilly, puro dresses and bucket
Yes.
socks.
Since I was little, I was infatuated with the 50s style. Everything. The cars, everything. Happy Days was a big show, a big influence. My mom would watch it. I Love Lucy, the black and white, the color, everything, you know? So I'm not going to give it away because I'm going to print it out. I really am.
Good, yeah.
And that's why I tell them, it's time. I didn't do it. I'm going to do it. Unfortunately, I have the original still, but my dad still has my stuff, but we don't speak, so I probably will never get it back. But I do remember come on, I wrote it over and over 10 times, so I remember everything.
That's good.
And yeah, every time I'm here, driving around my neighborhood, that's the setting my book was in. All these old Victorian houses, so I'm it has to come out on print now. It's time.
I think your readers would like that too, because there's a lot of people that like that era, you know, or they're into nostalgia, and
yes,
so much has changed over the years now that people say, "Oh, the good old days," you know, and that's kind of what
Yeah,
that story
yeah.
sounds like. You know, somebody.
I will give a little bit.
On that.
So this kid, they move into his neighborhood, the new house, everything. He goes into like a bomb shelter in the backyard that he finds.
Yeah.
He's in there messing around because there's a bunch of everything down there that the old people from the house left. And when he comes out, it's not his house anymore. It was the house. It's not his era anymore. It ain't his neighbors anymore. It's back in the 50s.
Wow.
So now he
Back
has
to
to
the future.
find out how to come back to, he misses his mom.
Yeah.
So that I will tell you guys.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, and like then R.L. Stine was like the world to me with the Goosebumps. Oh my God. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make a book like his, a trip, this and that, back and forth. So yeah, it was kind of cool. That influenced me, and I was always like, I want to write a book.
Go
You
for
know?
it. Yeah.
Okay, so you said the Tumbados influenced this book.
Yeah.
You guys
and
have
first
the album
actually, yeah.
here.
So with the soundtrack to the book is basically actually a re-release. So the original Tumbados album. This is actually the original Tumbados
Is
album.
it the whole
It's
thing?
the whole album,
Okay,
yes, the
nice.
whole Tumbados album. But I repackaged it to go with my book because at the time it was basically underground hip hop, right?
Yeah.
So not a lot of people knew about it, but only like the faithful fans knew about it, right?
Well, it was like
Those who
rock and roll blend with hip hop, with a little reggae touch, with a little
Yeah.
because we would play live instruments and then rap over it and throw a little punk rock in it, and I think the first song you heard probably was LA.
Yeah, Yeah.
Translates to LA.
yeah, and
And
Verde Cola Rola.
okay, that one too. And it was
La
just,
Mata Mota, oh.
oh, but that was later.
Yeah?
That was later on. That's when we did the Cheech and Chong video thing.
No, I heard the original Mata Mota on the cassette that Caesar gave
Oh,
me.
that was okay. Okay, so
Yeah,
that was
bro.
like sitting in the works and then came back
Yeah,
out
yeah,
and then
yeah.
was remade. Yeah,
The remade version is the one that's on YouTube right now.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
A few of their songs are. You can check out YouTube. Those two
I
albums.
already subscribed to the flyers.
cool,
Oh,
cool,
good,
good.
good.
Los Tumbados, and Figueroa Flyers.
Yeah.
But when he approached me, he gave me the idea about his book. I was like, man, do whatever you want, bro. You know,
Yeah.
we have a lot of history. He actually was trying to get us to sign on a record label that he was starting up,
Yeah.
and
Dabbling.
Dabbling.
that's how we were.
But I love music.
Yeah.
That's how we were introduced, and then you filmed the video for the Brew Run.
Yeah, we did a
When we made a song about stealing beer out of the, like we used to do, running
Yeah.
out with beer out of the liquor store.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
How I met him stealing a bottle of boonies from the liquor store.
so that was when we were filming that video. What happened to that video? Did it just fell by?
Yeah,
But it was completed. No, you filmed the whole
completed
thing?
it. But you know what? Like I had some problems in the editing process, so I wanted to re-edit it, but it kind of became difficult
You jumped
because
onto another project and said, we'll deal with that later.
because we were shooting on these small video cassettes back then. You know?
Oh, they used to be the little ADAT.
So you had to transfer it digitally in order to edit it on the computer.
Yeah.
And that was like
More of a hassle.
Yeah.
Nowadays, you just.
I think I
dump it
still
in.
have some of that footage in storage. We gotta dig it
That
out.
would be crazy.
Yeah. I
Long
think
time
it's
ago.
somewhere in storage. I have that footage.
So when he told me, he's like, I'm writing this book and I want to use your guys' music to go with it, to accompany it. I was like, you don't want us to create something and go? He's like, nah, this is gonna be just
Yeah.
Perfect the way it is. Yeah.
It was. And then so I knew the songs too. So in the story too, this Chili Pepper, he has a band.
Yeah.
So which is based off of Los Tumbados. So the lyrics that he sings in his band is from one of the Los Tumbados songs. And actually, to be honest with you, there are little Easter eggs throughout my novelette of from Tumbado songs.
Mm-hmm.
Like when he gets hit in the head, the bluebirds are flying around in the sky, and he had the song Bluebird in the Sky, right?
Yeah.
You know,
Nice.
and then Tapp, whenever we're gonna go someplace or something, you would always say, like, I never heard nobody else say this, but you would always say, "Amanos recio."
Vámonos recio. That's what I always say. Yes.
But I never heard people except Tapp. I'm sure other people say that, but Tapp would always say that shit.
It's slang. It's Chicano slang.
And I never heard people say that. So I made my main character say that, like when he was.
Vámonos recio. Yeah.
Vámonos recio,
Now we updated it a little. Now it's vámonos fast.
Oh, is that vámonos fast?
Which translates to the same thing.
I like recio. Is it recio?
Well, that's the original one that our fathers and
Recio.
stuff used to say.
Yeah, like I didn't know this. So this fool told me that slang, and so I was like, I gotta put that in the book. So
Yeah.
Recio. Yeah.
Vámonos recio.
Yeah.
But but I remember you telling me that that you wanted to put out this book.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking like, oh, it's like when we were kids in school where you would put on a record and then read a book and it would be
Oh yeah, the read along.
Yeah.
That was cool.
I thought that it was like it came in a package and that was.
Well, this is kind of like it. You could read the book and smoke and listen to the Tumbados album.
Drink.
Yeah. But I used to have those too.
Yeah, remember those?
It would make a little bell sound
Yeah,
to the page. Yeah.
I seen those. Yeah.
Those are cool.
So the first song, when the Metiche neighbor comes the next day, is that one of their actual songs too?
I think so. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, everything, all the music.
Which thinks that he killed her?
Yeah, all the music things was
That one?
that's it. Yeah, these are.
And then you wanna show us?
Walking the streets alone.
Oh yeah, that's Verde con la rola.
A ver?
Those are your lyrics, right?
I don't have a real mic. I have that one.
How did it? Shit, it's an old song.
Yeah.
How did it go? It goes. Camino las calles de Los con el sol en la cara. Cuando suelto este estilo, corazones se paran. Un pinche vago sin rumbo es lo que soy. Ya buscar el argüende es a donde voy. Like looking for fucking problems and shit.
Yeah.
So that was it right there.
Yeah.
Translated and formed to what the Chiles.
Yeah, the Chiles too. Yeah.
And then they get sad because there's no beer.
Yeah.
That guy might as well be me. You fucking made him.
Based off of you. Yeah. A lot of this is based off of my own. Yeah.
That's fun. Okay, cool. Thank you for that. That's so cool.
Yeah.
So since we're on you right now, what inspired you to get into music?
Just always liking it. And then growing up in the time, Mellow Man Ace came up with La Mentirosa and Kid Frost with For the Raza.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, like here we go. There's that door's opening up for us now.
Yeah.
Let us do something, So I had some buddies that played music in the neighborhood, and one day we're hanging out in the garage, drinking, smoking, and they're playing their instruments, and there happened to be an old bass guitar just lying in the corner, and one of my buddies, Fred Garcia, rest in peace, he was the guitarist for Los Tumbados originally. He was like, hey dude, why don't you pick that up? And that was it. I picked it. It was missing a string and it was all beat up. But I just started messing with it, and little by little, I got me a book that explained what the chords were and what a note was and how long to hold. And from there, I took it from there, and I was writing lyrics alongside and putting it to a story, like the way that he says when he structures a book and a story. The same format comes into mind for a song. The beginning, the middle, and the end, and. That's how. That's how it came to be with that first album.
So how many songs have you wrote?
Altogether? Oh, I don't know. At least in the hundreds.
Wow.
At least in the
That's
hundreds,
impressive.
and a lot of them just get pushed aside and be like, "Oh, I'll come back to that later." Kind of like you did with your books. Like, "Oh, I'll come back to that later," and then. You don't ever get to it, but it's still there for when you do find it. You're like, oh, shit, let me get on this again. Yeah. Which is what happened with the Mata Mota. Mm-hmm. That's how we said, okay, well, that's been sitting around. Let's go back to that. So we took that and we made a video that's like a parody of Cheech and Chong Up in Smoke.
Yeah.
Because where they filmed that original movie is in the neighborhood where we grew up on Figueroa and Avenue 45, Avenue 43. So we went back to that old house where they did it, and of course it's new people living in there. And we're like, hey man, we have this idea. This is the house where they filmed Cheech and Chong's Up in Smoke, and we'd like to use it. And they were like, yeah, cool, go ahead. So
they were nice.
Luckily. And luckily we didn't come in there with flashy cars and jewelry thinking, oh, we're gonna want some money. We're like, we'll shoot you a couple $100 and a box of beer, but that's all
we have.
And luckily they were able to work with us, and we made it happen. It's on YouTube, La Matamota by Los Tumbados.
Check it out.
It's on there, so.
It's always nice to run into nice people. Like last time I put the Al Capone, the mobster gangster guy.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys knew he had a house in Fontana.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Wow. We found it, and I'm going to put that lady on blast again because I hate rude fucking people. We went over there because I'm so excited to record the house. The house has a chimney and it has a C, his initials still.
Yeah.
And we're like there, and tell me why she trips us off.
Oh man, that's sad.
I was like up here because, oh my God, we found the house. She straight flips us off.
What?
Yeah, that's messed
Did
up.
you knock on the door, or she just?
That was from the gate out. I wasn't even in her property. We were in the street.
How rude.
Rude people suck, and I will forever put her on blast for that.
I told you I worked on the First Friday movie, and I see on Instagram too that the Friday house, they use that as like it's historic now.
Yeah.
People go by there and they have events and stuff like that, and
that's how it should be, especially when you're iconic like that.
Yeah.
But the people that live there probably might get a little tired of it.
No, because the people who live there actually host it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they put the table out in front, and they say like you could come and sit down like Craig and Smokey, just donate some money.
Take your picture,
with the Friday.
Well, that always helps because if you come with a little bit of money, they're a little more prone to accept. As opposed to, hey man, just let me get a picture.
Right, that's true too. Yeah.
Well, over here, all I wanted was a picture, and then I was even like telling him, you think if I ask her if I could take a picture in front of the house, she'll let me? Hell no, she didn't even give us the chance. She's flipping us off.
Maybe you should have rolled up with a burrito and a couple of sodas or something. Be like, hey, look, I got some.
I'm eating my own burrito now. That senora could just sit in her house. She's rude. And if she sees it, learn better freaking manners.
That it's a historic home.
And if you don't, then ask your neighbors, why is everybody stopping in front of the house? Look up your address, something.
So Al Capone had a house in Montana. Wow.
And trip out.
A Chicago guy.
Al Capone got around. He was even running Tijuana too.
What? Yeah. Wow. Nice.
Ain't nothing was stopping Mr. Al Capone, let me tell you. And then that specific house, literally half a block away was a KKK house.
Wow.
That was huge in the 80s. The leader, that's his house there too. So. Yeah, Fontana has a lot of hidden history if you look it up.
Kentucky.
Yeah, Kentucky, literally. Yeah, so, no, be nice people. You never know.
Never know who's neighbor.
Yes, or who thinks you're cool or your house or whatever. Like, I don't know, I'm just very approachable always. And I always feel like everybody should be. So when I do find those people that are real mean, it's like, God, what's wrong with you?
Well, I found a little incentive always helps. A little money be like, look.
But I'm broke. I ain't giving nobody money. I give you a smile and a handshake. Be my friend. What other social medias are you on, or how do people find you?
Yeah, mainly Instagram right now, actually, to be honest. And Instagram and Facebook, yeah. And then, like I said, I'm a judge for the Hub City Film Festival that's coming up August 8th and 11th. That's going to be held at Compton College. Yeah.
Maybe you'll judge one of my movies, but pass me, okay? Because I suck as an actor. I'll tell you right now. I am dry. What it is. I'm not going to, it's like fun, like.
Yes, anybody come out to Compton College August 8th and 11th. I should be there. And then mainly on Instagram right now and Facebook. Like I said, like right now I've just kind of been focusing on my health, so I'm kind of been sort of out of the public activity, so to speak. Yeah. But I'm usually at local comic book conventions or book
That's what I was gonna ask. Do you do pop-ups and stuff?
I do those, yeah. I do those. different festivals and that kind of thing. So
Hey, so
Yeah.
okay, so judge. Speaking on, you're gonna be a judge.
I am a judge. I already started judging, really.
How many are there gonna be at that one event?
I don't know. Like they still have to. Like the committee has to select after. Like I'm sure I'm not the only judge, you know. But so far I've done like I've looked at least 18 films, and and actually tomorrow they send me more because since I finished and judged them, they were like, oh, can you watch some more and judge them? So I think I got like another 8 more.
How does one become a judge?
Yes, let's see.
The bar.
I know. It's funny because again into the dabbling. I used to be a music video director, and I directed a hip hop music video for this girl called artist called Baby Girl, and the song was called The Vibe, and it played I think on. Remember this cable channel called The Box?
Yeah.
Where you could call it up?
Yeah.
I don't know if they still have it, but you could call it up and pay for the...
No.
Okay, so it's
that's before our time.
right?
Yeah.
Old schoolers talking, but
Yeah.
The Box used to be like you could call and pay $1 and see the music video of your choice at that time, right? So I think that music video that I directed played on there, but I never really saw it, to be honest with you, but I heard that it was put on there. But anyways, the producer of that music video is one of the founders of this film festival.
Oh, wow.
And so we've been in touch. When I did that music video was some years ago, so we've been in touch over the years. And as a matter of fact, he worked on Friday also too. He was part, I think, the locations division of the film production. So we've known each other for a while. So he became the organizer for the Hub City Film Festival, and then so he knew that I'm a big film fan. And he asked me if I had time to do it, and sure enough, I did. I do have time, so it's cool, man. Watching different films from different countries and stuff like that. A lot of lame ones, you know. But
Are they all good or do they suck?
You know, but there are a few that are like, wow, you know, you can really tell that they have potential and that they're gonna go somewhere with their talent in the film industry. And I like that because I like to encourage people too. In the film festival too, they also have submissions coming from like not elementary, but middle schoolers. So I like to encourage them too, because
that's young.
So maybe they're not perfect in every aspect of the production, but sometimes like one actually was a middle school in Italy. They did a production about the first female medical doctors and what they had to go through, discrimination and prejudice and all that stuff to become the successful medical doctors they were as females. And they did like a short sort of documentary about that. And so I graded it high on that subject matter. You know? Production-wise, maybe it wasn't as technically savvy as something that you might normally
But then you gotta take in consideration the age group.
Right, exactly, yes. I keep that in mind when I'm being a judge.
So you look at everything.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, we're movie people too, but if it doesn't catch me within the first 20 minutes, I'm done. I'll just turn it off.
Kind of like a book.
Oh yeah, book gotta be the same.
I'll watch it and then I always watch just with my ears. That's how I watch everything, with my ears, because I'm doing this or that, or I crochet, like I'm just doing everything else. And they all get mad, like, you're not even watching. Like, I don't need to be like this. Like, I'm watching with my ears. No, like, I'll just tell me, you know what, just change it. I can't get into that shit right now. Just change it, turn it off. I don't want it, I don't like it.
Especially if it has like an accent.
To me, I can,
I like those though. I like because they come from like a different perspective than you're used to. I mean, sometimes the
stories are good.
But sometimes the stories are like, they're different, you know?
Like, there's a series that we started watching the other day, and it looks real, like, I like gory and scary. That's my alley. Like, if it's possessions, the devil, ghost, that, like, I'm gonna watch it. That's it. And, it's called Pearl, and it looks real gory and everything, like, blood and killer and this and that. And the setting too is like older, 40s, 50s. But I just cannot get into it because the way they just, and then it's like subletted too, like the subtitles, the whole thing. So I can't watch that.
It's called Pearl.
Pearl, yeah. I think it's on. No, it's on Netflix, is it? Yeah.
They have a lot of international movies on Netflix,
and it looks good. I will eventually watch it though. I don't knock till I actually do.
Yeah.
But then I would need to really watch,
Yeah.
and then that's like hard for me.
Sometimes you can get the dubbed version too, where there's no subtitles, but they're speaking in English where
Yeah.
you can understand them, even if it's a foreign language. You know?
Yeah. No, yeah, we're on to like we watched the Chapo the other day, that whole show, and he don't do Spanish, but he was reading every freaking word on there real quick. Like it was like we were on it, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, it you know, if it doesn't spark me in 20 minutes, I'm done. I can't.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
We're ADHD people.
Yeah,
now.
Yeah.
I think that's entertainment in general. You know, you gotta if you gotta get
If it
into
doesn't get
it's gotta
you-
grab you. You know.
Yeah.
You know, especially movies too. You know, it's gotta
That's
grab
what,
you. Yeah.
what happened with that book that I was talking about, The Jungle.
Yeah.
It was a little hard at the beginning,
First.
but when you stick with it,
Yeah,
like, holy
yeah.
shit, it's
Yeah.
super
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, I read another, like we were talking about light novels. There's one called Reincarnated as a Sword, and it's all about someone who dies and comes back to life as a video game character in this video game world.
Oh,
But when he comes back to life, he's a sword. He's not a person anymore,
Wow.
right? And he becomes like the sword for this really cute little warrior girl, and he goes on an adventure with this girl, right? And yeah, what was I talking about?
So it comes back to that.
Who cares? Just type.
Inanimate object. Holy shit.
The reason I was you said it took some time to get into the story. Yeah, that one was like it took some time to like I was like this is so weird, you know.
Yeah.
But once you got into the story,
Then
it was
you
like-
got into the
then you got
story.
into it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So did the sword talk?
The sword, he could communicate with her telepathically. Yeah, so that they could communicate. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really cool book. And if you're into like, I'm not into it that much, but video games and like what they call role playing games, like Dungeons and Dragons and
Right.
stuff like that, they use some of the technology and stuff they use in those type of things in the story.
Okay.
You know, like when the sword kills a certain animal, it gains certain points and gets certain skills that the animal had. It's trippy shit like
Nice.
yeah, it's cool though. Like, damn, this book is pretty cool.
Nice.
So you have an award here. What other
Yeah, that
awards
was-
have you?
This is the International Latino Book Award. I got that for The Good, the Bad, and the Chili, and it's available on Amazon. So go get your copy. Thank you.
I got mine and I got it
as soon as
signed.
possible. Yeah, you got yours through Amazon too, right?
Yeah. Very fast shipping.
Yeah, so as a publisher, just to let you know, that was a good experience for me. It's called KDP Publishing, and they're with Amazon, and it's nice because they print on demand. I don't have to do like the traditional printing where you would print X number of books, 100 or 1,000, you know.
It goes as it comes.
Yeah, just as it comes.
That's what I was gonna ask you.
Yeah.
Like, obviously you mentioned you're with Amazon.
Yeah.
Do you like it better than like self-published? What's the differences?
Yeah, well, with Amazon, I am self-published.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So they just print it basically for me, and then I get royalties off of when they sell it.
Okay.
Right?
They take their little cut.
They take a little cut,
And
yeah,
then
and then they give me a little cut off of it. But to be honest with you, I've been writing professionally since 2003, so like 21 years now, and I've never been actually really published by a major publisher.
Yeah.
I've been published by magazines like Street Low Magazine published me, and there was another one called Wheels. So these lowrider magazines published my articles.
Yeah.
But as far as books and comic books, I've always done it self-published. So I'm not someone you could ask me like, what's the difference?
Yeah.
Because like I don't have experience getting published by bigger publishers. I tried to work for Marvel Comics, and I sent them a sample of my work, but at the time, I guess they didn't.
They didn't
It
want
was
it.
good enough, you
Yeah.
know, so maybe I'll try again.
Screw them. What the-
screw
you're a
them.
judge.
Exactly, I'm a judge
You're
now.
a
What the
judge.
hell?
Man, you need them.
Yeah, you know. But I enjoy creating my own comic
Yeah.
books and not having the censor of a big company, you know. So I think I'll probably continue doing that, self-publishing, you know.
And then I've heard, because I don't know, but usually when you're under like a printer or whatever, like a publisher,
Yeah.
you have deadlines and everything too, right?
Sure, yeah, because they want to get the book out probably at a certain time.
The
'Cause they have,
releases and this
events
and that.
They want to
Yeah.
schedule you to do and that kind of thing.
And
yeah.
doing self,
So
you're on your
self-publishing, it's just I'm doing it myself. So I still gotta look out for the events to take my book to sell it if I want to push it and that kind of
Yeah.
thing. And I have kind of been slacking on it, I would say, recently, but I have done that circuit, so to speak, the book festival circuit,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
comic book convention circuit. And so you got to do that. You got to plan it out. You got to pay for it, all coming out of pocket and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it is costly, but it is fun too. If you're able to do it yourself, you know. A lot of people get into the books when they're retired because they don't have a job to do. They have the time. They have the pension money coming in. It's much easier. But I still would encourage younger writers who have that goal, have that dream, have a vision of, hey, they want to write that book, like the book that you want to put out and stuff like that. Go for it, do it, and self-publish it. Get your friends, your family to read it. Get out to these festivals. You know, it's not hard. Some of them could be cheap too to attend. Yeah, you know, and you can always share tables with people. That you don't have to have your own booth at first. You know, if you want to share a table with somebody. Those are ways I think you can cut corners to self-publish your work and get it out there, you know, and start to make a name for yourself. And then who knows, maybe a big publisher might pick you up. Maybe a big publisher might pick me up down the line. I have friends who have gotten picked up by big publishers who started out just like me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a question.
Yeah.
If I were to take that metal to the pawn shop down the street, how much can I get right now, bro?
I
don't know, but it's mainly for looks, I think, bro. Yeah, like, you know.
Looks like it's worth some buzz.
You know, yeah. I don't know, bro, but no, I want to keep it.
Let him keep his medal.
I just wanted to show, yeah. It was a little show, yeah.
Hey, that's what it's
But as a matter of fact,
I would have been wearing that
I have another one, actually. I won one, but I won two of those. One for another book as well.
Damn it.
Yeah. So,
Nice.
yeah.
As an overall writer, like an author, what do you think your biggest challenge has been?
Man, my biggest challenge has been, like what we were talking about, publishing. Publishing, yeah, because to be honest with you, another problem is getting myself to write. Okay, so I guess that's the challenge, my own self, you know, to sit down in a disciplined manner to actually write a story, because like we were talking about, we could be doing so many other things. And social media has definitely come into play now, you know, as one of those added distractions, right? So that's the challenge, is getting myself to sit down and to actually write. But once I do it, you know, I'm pretty dedicated to it, and the creativity comes, and I put it through my drafts, you know, because it doesn't come out perfect the first time. It's very frustrating. I'm the type of person that goes through drafts. So like, I don't know how many drafts that I did for the Good, the Bad, and the Chile, but I'm thinking maybe it could be like 30 or more. So it's like I write it, then I read it, then I go, okay, that's
Perfection.
good, but this could be a little better and that kind of thing. So that's my process, you know. So I think that's a challenge. But once it's done, I feel okay. I got it to a point where I think I'm happy to share it with other people, and it's good enough to share with the world. Then I'll publish it, you know. But the finances is a challenge, because then sometimes I'm thinking like, I have an idea for a story, but like, is it worth doing? Because then I gotta pay for printing, I gotta pay for advertising, I gotta do the shows out there. Sometimes, if you go to book festivals too, not a lot of people show up.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
Because the whole thing of books kind of
Books is corny, you know.
It's not, you know.
Yeah.
No, but you know what too?
Get a book on your
Yeah.
It's
It's a lack of pushing book events
in society.
Yeah.
See, so I found that other act I spoke about, and then you came up, and then I see that you've been here and your award and this and that. You don't really hear about, there's a book festival in LA this weekend. You don't.
Right.
You will hear about the Michelada Rumble
Right.
non-stop.
Not only that. Now you don't even have to read. There's a dude reading it for you.
Yeah.
People getting lazy.
Yeah.
You play it and okay, I'm gonna read a book. You ain't reading. You're just listening.
Right. So it's become very.
I'm gonna tell you, I'm a lazy person. The way I write my stuff,
Okay.
I go into my email on my phone,
Okay.
and I put the talk and I just talk to my phone.
Well, that's so cool.
And I
Sometimes you can
email it
dictate
to myself.
Yeah, you can
So
dictate
when
it.
I
You
go
can do
back
that.
to look, I have a whole every.
That's
Yeah,
not
but
that's
that's more
yeah.
because it's more convenient.
Yeah,
to
that's
get
your process.
And not only that,
Process,
I'm
yeah.
like this. So if I have a really good thought right now, I better write it
Yeah, or
because
it's gone.
I'll
Or else
forget.
it's
Like
done.
whatever.
Yeah, taking notes.
Yeah. So I put easy
Yeah.
person.
Yeah. But there are a lot of things that make it convenient for that. You could, like you say, dictate it, and then it gets written out, so that you could still, quote unquote, write a book without really doing the labor of having to write.
Yeah. No, you just go back and recheck. Like, does it make sense?
Yeah.
Did the hearing part of the phone pick it up right? Like, all the type errors and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's
And
fun
the
though.
thing I don't have as a self-published writer is an editor. So like, I guess like I could get other people to read it, but like sometimes I don't want to bother people to do that. There are people you could hire to read your work and give you feedback. And I actually did. I did have my writing teacher, Elena Grande, who wrote Across 100 Mountains. She read the what do you think called it? The transcript? The first version of The Good, the Bad, and the Chile, and she gave me notes on like what to improve and that kind of thing. And so she was kind of like my editor. At a big publishing house, you would have that person there. If you wrote and gave it to them, they would have an editor who would tell you, hey, you need to correct this or check your spelling and stuff like that. Most of the times I do that myself because I'm actually kind of a proofreader, excuse me, on my own. Like when people write things and stuff like that, they give it to me and I proofread it for them and stuff. So I'm good at that with grammar. So I kind of wear that hat as well as a proofreader and an editor and as well as a writer. So with the bigger companies, they have their own people who do that, right? So I do that, and that's been helping me with
Your own,
my self-publishing.
yeah.
But yeah,
That's fun. Yeah, it sounds like you really enjoy all of it.
I do.
Yeah.
I enjoy being artistic and creative. Coming up with something new and then being able to share it with the world. Like I'm sure you do, like with your lyrics and new music. Being able to share it and share your viewpoint and your culture and your experiences. With people.
Yeah, but I ain't no judge. You a fucking.
Oh, now I'm a judge, but that's temporary.
Now I want to be a judge.
Okay,
Battle of the Bands starts. Hey, come. For like you and your music industry, what has been your biggest challenge, you think?
In the industry I'm in?
Yeah.
A lot of them. For one, it's super saturated. Everybody wants to be a rapper. Everybody wants to be a musician. But a lot of times they think that they can just be like, I'm going to upload a video or a song and
I'm gonna be famous.
it.
Yeah.
Whereas, like you said, you got to get out there and hustle your work.
Yeah.
You got to get out there, shake hands, kiss babies, and meet people, network, and push it. Because you just throw it out there and people will check it out and all right, cool. But you got to be out there really pushing your stuff, where it comes down to getting out there and meeting people and being like, hey man, check this out. And other artists that are doing the same, you network, and just how, me and him are, he called me up one day and was like, hey, I'm going to be at this festival and I want to get a homeboy from Breezewood, big Chave.
Yeah.
What was that, a little while ago?
Yeah.
And
They did the show with him with Enemy Rifa, right? Yeah.
so for the most part, it's just really getting out there and pushing it. A lot of people just get comfy with the idea that I'm going to just throw it on the internet and it'll automatically do its own thing,
Yeah.
So
I've been waiting for Ryan Seacrest to pick me up, and it still hasn't happened. It's been 3 years.
I think having a good manager too is good. Shout out to Cesar Avalos if you're watching this, bro.
Yes, sir.
Cesar Avalos was the manager of Los Tumbados.
That guy got around.
He got around to the House of Blues performing.
He made a lot of connections.
A lot of connects help.
That's
So
what's
it's
up.
having some good back.
Yeah,
Support,
someone to be out there, because if you're doing like you said, you're doing the writing part.
Yeah.
Well, you need somebody to help you with the editing, the proofreading, the getting it to the publisher. So there's a lot that comes with it. It has to be a team effort. So
artists, you gotta do it, or you gotta get somebody else to do it with you. It's good to get that support.
People with the like minds that are got that drive in them to get some stuff going and
Network together.
Yeah.
yes.
So since we're talking about all this networking and ideas and this and that, have you ever been in trouble legally? maybe something that people think is stolen work, copied work?
No, never. Thank God. Thank God. I've always copyrighted my work, and I've never plagiarized anybody. I think I've been influenced by writing, but I've never taken it directly and then said it was my own.
Yeah.
That would be wrong. That would be plagiarism.
That's an artist move right there, because we're influenced by what we like.
Yeah.
So we take little bits without totally stealing, you know?
Yeah.
Little bits that influence you and kind of twist it into your own, you know?
Even with the novelette too, I used his music, and I made sure I give him credit in the front of the book, and I put his picture on the back of the book too, because I felt like, credit needs to be
Give him the credit.
Hey, wait a minute. I need a medal now too. A little penny one at least. Shit.
Exactly, like a little quarter.
Yeah, a coin size. I'm not shit. That thing's nice.
So, out of all your work you've done, what has been the most fun, the most complicated, and which one have you learned the most from?
I think the most complicated was the book, The Good, the Bad, and the Chile, because unlike a comic book, I could depend on an artist to help me out by telling the stories with visuals, With the novelette, it's all my words, And like in a comic book, you just have to write a couple lines for the character to speak, and maybe a real short description of like where they are, like in front of the World Trade Center or at the convention center, something like that in East LA. Even I had some of my stories taking place there. But like in a novelette, you gotta really you're really dependent on the words and how I communicate and the picture you're trying to create for the reader with your words, right? And you want to use the right words too, just like when you're writing songs too. Make sure that it flows, and it sounds cool, and it makes sense, sounds good, clever use of words. So sometimes I'll go to a thesaurus or go to incorporate slang, those type of things, to help me out.
No, your book has a lot of the Spanglish too, and
I like to incorporate the Spanglish.
That's what caught me, honestly.
And I do my research too. I do my research, studying the culture, studying language, studying how people talk and interact with each other. Try to make it as natural as possible. So, because it's a trip, because when you're writing comic books too, you got an artist who's creating sort of the visuals and the location and the person, but when you're writing just a straight word, you gotta be able to describe what that person, paint that picture with words. Yeah. So that was very challenging for me, And I continue doing it, but that's the challenging part of it. Promoting it, not so much, because I do like getting out, and because writing is very solitary too, right? You're just kind of doing it by yourself, right? And not until you get out and interact with the public and they hear your lyrics or read your book, you can get an exchange going where they actually see the art, hear the art, and that's kind of cool. I really enjoy that process, the best.
So that would be the fun.
Trying to sell it, and talking to the readers, talking to the fans, and getting them to buy it and telling them, getting their feedback on it. I always enjoy that process. But just sitting down by myself, lonely, writing, that's the thing that's challenging.
You said the Spanglish is what caught you?
Oh yeah.
What parts was it where you're like, oh, this dude's speaking my language?
Well, like the cabrón right away. I was oh, okay, yes. The book caught me. The first part was Lula, when she's like attitude, and that's me.
Okay.
That's me. I was like, man, that is me.
Okay.
So yeah, that automatically okay, and then that's when I was reading he don't smoke pot, but if he did, I would smack him in the back of his head real quick,
to be honest with you, I've never smoked, but I wrote it. I know people who smoke, so I wrote it into the character.
Guilty as charged.
Okay, there you go. This guy.
And then when they're talking about the below the knee amputee.
Yes.
They're having that pillow talk, when she's like, I get over it, and there's a part she calls him Goyo or something.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, this ain't Spanish, but it's
because I wanted to.
So I just
things that I've also learned in life too. So I guess that also is part of my writing process. Is not, even though it's fiction too, I want to incorporate things that I have learned that I want to share with you.
Yes.
That I felt that I've benefited from in life, or things that I've actually suffered from that I wouldn't want other people to suffer from either. I kind of try to incorporate that into my writing. Have some kind of message in the entertainment, so it's not just pure, just fluff, you know.
No, yeah, that it caught me because I myself, I'm diabetic too, so I was like, oh shoot, okay, what?
Yeah.
So no.
I enjoy it. Sometimes I get a little shy about talking about my diabetes, but I definitely like talking about it because I've been diabetic for some years now. So now I've come to a point where I've changed my diet, I've changed my routine, and that's important because I see a lot of people, especially in the Latinos community, suffer from diabetes because of maybe a lot of the sodas and a lot of the carbohydrates, a lot of tortillas, rice.
It's the lack of knowing.
And once you get the knowledge of being able to control that, limit it, portion control it, maybe cut it out certain times, you could have better control of your sugar level in your life, and then you could enjoy life and your kids, your family more.
I agree with that. Like I always say, us as the Latinos, I blame it on us more than anybody. We're always embarrassed and always shy, and we don't want to hear people judge us or tell us, or and that's where a lot of the times we shut a lot of information out because we just rather not, and I just think it's time to get over, just listen. Listen and be quiet, and then make your judgment after, know.
And then do your own research too to find out.
And then more now than ever, since everything is so freaking easy on your phone. English, Spanish, whatever language you speak, there's no excuse no more.
But get the right sources too, because there's a lot of BS out there also. Disinformation.
Yes.
Yes. And even too, like sometimes family members that would be telling me like their advice, but they weren't medically trained, so like now I try to stick to people who are medically trained, and if it's like maybe family advice, I could take it in, but like I still gotta sort of evaluate it and do some research and not just take it as a truth just because my mom said it or just because my dad said it. But now I'm more like, well, what's their medical qualifications and what's their experience? Then I could kind of.
You mean when they told you here down this 2 liter of Sprite?
Yeah.
You mean that wasn't
they try to heal me with just Vicks all the time. It works sometimes, but other times you got to do a little bit more than that. It goes a little deeper than the home remedies. Yeah. But you can't knock the home remedies because some of them are good too, I still drink a little honey and lemon in my tea, and that does the trick.
Shit, them old school, there's some of them old school Mexican ones that were like, what? Holy shit, get some fucking ruda and smack yourself all over. Reza 10 Padre Nuestro.
The huevo.
Un huevo.
Hey, whatever works. But sometimes you gotta get a little medical these days, man.
Well, since we're on that was gonna be one of my questions, because I always have to ask. Are you guys spiritual? Do you guys believe in the supernatural and all that?
I do. Yeah, totally. Yeah. I was mentioning you earlier too that I've had some ghost experiences too. When I saw your episode about the ghost in the house that you live in, I was like, wow, I could totally relate.
That's scary shit.
Yeah.
I grew up with one of those. I grew up with one in there, and my mom I would see that my family they'd be praying in the kitchen constantly, and I'd be like, damn. When I was little, damn, why are they praying so much? Well, when I got older, my mom was like, oh, ahí se asustaban, había un ghost. I was like, oh shit, no wonder my bed used to freaking shake in the middle of the night.
I was saying, I had a bathroom door that would shake, and it was like no way like a wind could come and really do that. And I was like, what the hell is this? Yeah. And then my mom was like, I feel a presence. And I had never mentioned anything to my mom about that. And I was like, oh shit, she's feeling that presence too.
Yeah, she feels it.
Yeah, because we had lived like 2 blocks down from a hospital. So my think is that maybe when people die, their spirits kind of hang around the area.
They linger,
So there was a spirit kind of lingering in the area. Yeah. So, and to be honest with you, I just said out loud, go away. Stop bothering me.
Oh, you would get confrontational.
I
would do the opposite.
I did.
Let me cover my patas so I don't pull up.
I say that, and then they eventually went.
No shit.
Because I just got into communication with the entity, you know.
So you were taking the bully method.
Not bully. I wasn't bully. It was just me getting in control of the situation.
Okay, because for a while I had a bachelor house that I was living in by myself, and that shit would happen heavy.
Oh shit!
And I found that instead of trying to be all tough with them, I'd be like, "Hey man, I'm just a guest here."
Oh yeah.
Because I'd be scared. You're sitting in there by myself, be like, "Oh shit," and be like, "Hey man, I'm just a guest." And I feel like they'd be like, "That's right, motherfucker. Like now you know your place." And then they would go away. But if I try to toughen up with them, be like, what? Like, now they're really gonna throw some shit at me.
I had to toughen up because I had to let them know you're not welcome here. You know.
I'll try that approach next time.
Okay. yeah. But it seemed to work.
Ask. I just really because I'm a big old, like I said, horror. That's my thing, and I'm taking like I always tell them nowadays people open up more about scary stuff and ghosts versus 20 years ago. You would never hear anything on TV.
Yeah.
You know, I remember growing up watching Sylvia Brown the Psychic on the talk shows, you know, and that was as creepy as it got. And then you had to wait till like Friday. Our Friday was always go rent scary movies in the weekend. But that was it. There was no books. There was no shows. Like now we have paranormal, everything.
A lot more on TV.
You know, and I always tell them like, I'm glad we're in a place in the world today where people actually admit that there's shit that goes on that we don't know.
Yeah.
And we cannot have an explanation rather than it's a fucking ghost. Like, it is what it is.
Tapp even had a song called Rolas Macabras, right?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
And it's about ghosts, people?
Not exactly. It was the macabre. Macabra means macabre, so it spoke on that. And it came from just being a heavy beat that was like a hardcore, like a metal.
We'll have to check that out, yeah.
But when you're saying that there wasn't nothing 20 years ago, shit, The Exorcist.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I saw The Exorcist. I was like, hell no. That shit stuck with me, and I was like, fuck, what if I get possessed and shit? So I feel like sometimes if you're like dabbling too much in that, you're opening up for that. So I kind of like with my kids now, I tell them like, hey, my daughter's like, I see she's trying to get into it. I'm like, okay, but just know this. You're lending yourself for them to fucking want to come and might want to fuck with you. So remember that too. And then some time passed and she was like, oh shit, Dad, you're right. I'm not messing with that no more because I felt a presence. See him. I'm telling you.
Was it like a Ouija board or something?
Well, that's one of them. You fuck around and let a bad energy come to you and shit, you might not be able to get rid of that, you know? So it's a real thing.
Yeah.
Like all those wannabe witches that do things on their own. There's a lot of the shows that, you know, there's things that happen and they don't know why, and it's like you've been messing with stuff and you don't even know what you're doing. Like, just leave it alone. Stop pretending you're a witch and you know what you're doing. Like, leave it to the professionals, you know? You wouldn't go to the mechanic for your dentist work, right? So it's like, leave it alone. That just had to ask, like I said, because I'm curious. Everybody has different takes and opinions, and so far, we're winning. We're positive there's something out there and a lot of unexplained everything. So just thought I'd throw that out there.
That's a good topic.
What would you say is your biggest support group or circle, or who are your biggest supporters?
Yeah, okay, so with the novelette, actually, I would say like my biggest support for the novelette was the International Latino Book Awards. And so for that, I submitted my book for the competition. And in that competition, you know, they judge other authors and stuff like that. But they have like festivals that they take the authors to who win an award. And I've gone to different, which is called the Latino Book and Family Festivals. They have that in different parts of California, I think. And I've gone to their different book festivals, and they've supported me in that way. And then just in general, like with my comic books, just fans that go to book conventions and who go to comic book stores, and just fans in general with the novelette too, who buy it off of readers who buy it off of Amazon. You know, I would say that they are my supporters. You know, and the cool thing too is like with the Amazon book too, and the fact that you could get it digitally also. Like I have a fan out in South Africa, you know, which is pretty cool. Different people all over the world, you know. So that's nice. I think it's in Cape Town. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you're stretching
So
far wide.
that's the benefit of it being digital, you know. Somebody could take a book and everything online, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a different world, guys.
I hope
We're
that answers it
evolving.
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? It's like I have so many different fan base, like comic books and novelette, and even with clothing. So it's like I have different like support groups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Family. They're your
My
neighbors.
dad, and my mom. My dad and my mom.
They support you.
Like my mom, actually, to be honest with you, my mom, she helped finance some of my early comic books. Yeah. And then my dad also helped me with finances too. Yeah.
So yeah, you got the
Yeah.
whole. You got. It's
yeah.
solid support.
Yeah. But I could always use more fans.
Guys, give them a follow. Who
Or
would
go
you?
to Amazon and buy my book.
Yes, do that.
It's
You'll know you got it from me.
How much did you pay for it? I think like 6 bucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seven. Yeah.
$7?
How much was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, and it was
Less than a freaking hamburger combo.
That Chick-fil-A.
For you, who would you say is your biggest support group?
Mainly my neighborhood and people in the place where we came up, and then family also, friends, family, and then people you come across like on the internet and stuff like that.
Yeah.
People hitting you with a like or a compliment and being like, yeah man, I dig your stuff. Then there's a little bit of an interaction, and sometimes you hit it off and make a friend and turn into another relationship.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it's a benefit. They didn't have that back in the day. Now we got it, but we could reach a whole nother broader audience.
Yeah.
And,
Different ages too.
Yes.
Back then it was like just who you knew. That's your circle and those people. And now it's like you said, like it's a whole new world, and everybody can find you with a quick click and whatever.
And through the whole algorithm deal where somebody clicks on something that because they liked it now.
Suggestion.
I think that's how I connected with you on Instagram, is through the Instagram algorithm. Like they must have suggested that you would be someone of interest to me, and that's how I followed you. And then like, so I was following you on Instagram, and then I seen one post where you said something about a book, and I was like, oh my gosh, not often people on Instagram who are as beautiful as you have a book to show. No, usually like they're into themselves or showing off their body, to get attention from men or to get to their OnlyFans or whatever, But you were like, hey, I got this book and everything. So I was like, and like I'm usually going fast through Instagram. I was like, wow, this designer has a book, this is cool, So I just put a comment, hey, I hope you enjoyed that book. That seems like a cool book. And then we just started the conversation. And then you said, yeah it was pretty good.
It was a good,
conversation on that. And then she looked at my phone. I said, oh, he's a writer, And then I talked to her, yeah, I'm a writer. And she said, oh, I have this show. And I'm like, I'm done it. Come on, this is cool.
Let's talk about it.
That's cool.
How many women are on there just like, oh yeah, check out my ass and shit. But who's really putting on some real content? There's a million of those.
Hey, but
how many females are putting in content like, look, I read a book, check out this book.
I gotta be honest though, but I'd be on there looking.
Okay, that's fine, but those come a dime a dozen. Get somebody that's putting some real sustenance out there.
Which is cool. So, exactly. And I definitely noticed that with you when you had the book. I was like, oh, that has a book. So I was like, hey, that's cool because I'm a writer. So
when you want to meet your heroes, because they turn
out to be dicks,
turn out to be assholes. Like, fuck that guy. I thought he was, cool. Now he's total asshole, I've come across some of those dudes with the music biz, and you're like, oh shit, moving up a little, and you meet these big guys, you come across, you interact with them, like, God, you're a total fucking asshole.
Yeah. I don't want to say who, but I've also...
Same here, I won't say, but I've come across a lot of those.
And he was like my hero too, like I was like, oh man, like I really liked his work and stuff like that, and then when I met him, he was a real dick.
Yeah. This guy.
Yeah.
I'm burning your CDs.
So it's good to be friendly and polite and respectful to everybody.
But at the same time, we're also human, and sometimes you're going through some shit, or you're not feeling it.
Yeah.
But there's a way to go about it. Don't be like, hey, I'm sorry, bro, but I'm not feeling it right now. Come, let's talk another time.
Because some of these fans be invading your space too.
That happens too,
man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Eminem said when he's out there taking a piss, somebody coming up and wanting an autograph. You know, it's like, come on, man. You got people gotta just use common sense and have boundaries. Yeah. Shout out to John over there.
One time we ran into Kat Von D, the tattoo girl.
Okay.
And we were at an ice cream shop. So she had her husband and the little boy. And when we walked in, I was like, oh my God, like we've followed her, her whole career.
Yeah.
But there's a bunch of people in there, so I act indifferent, like whatever. I didn't want to kill it for her. If I seen it was in Rolling Heights and there's a bunch of Asians in there, so obviously they don't really, So I was like, oh, but the whole time I just kept like looking over my shoulder.
Yeah.
And once we were done and everything, I said, can I please get a picture with you? And she was really nice about it, but
that's cool.
I didn't want to kill it for her though. I see she's with her kid and she's having her moment right there. I didn't want to be an asshole too and just like, hey, bring my friend and take a picture. Like, no. Then everybody like, who is it,
Yeah.
But yeah, no, you guys are right. Fams kill it sometimes. So let's close it up. I know you've mentioned a lot of little tips and things for people, but for that young person still in school or their whole deal is, I will be a published author one day. What is your advice to them?
Get that typewriter like you did, just pursue it and sit down there and write. If it's a typewriter, it's on your computer, your laptop, even on your phone nowadays, put your ideas down and write. Just write. Set aside some time to write. And, soon enough you'll have something together that you could put together as a book and, eventually publish it. But definitely make time to write if that's what you want to do, or if you have maybe you don't even want to be a writer as a career, but you have an idea, a story, a personal experience that you want to share with people in writing as a book, just dedicate some time to doing that, sit down and write it, find other books that you think that you might like, that you want your book to be like, and you could model it after that, I would say, and definitely utilize the library. I don't think people utilize the library so much. I go there and occasionally I see people in there, but a lot of times I see the library being vacant and it's just maybe with a few people,
And it's sad, huh?
Yeah, but the library is a great resource, especially for new books, so you don't have to come out of pocket. Now you could rent movies and all that stuff from them. So I definitely encourage people to go to your neighborhood library. I go to Santa Fe Springs Public Library and they're very helpful.
Did you say you could rent movies out of the library?
Yeah, bro. I rent DVDs out of the library.
So the library is the new Blockbuster now?
It is a new Blockbuster. Like, so now, if you're a senior, you could get it for free. For me, like I'm not a senior yet, so I gotta pay $1. But for nowadays too, in the library, I don't know if it's all over the place, but I think generally in LA County, there's no more late fees. So say for example, I could rent a movie from Redbox, and if I return it late, I'm paying for that, and I only get it for like a day or two. I'm telling you,
I know where you go.
Right? So you go to the library
2-3 weeks
for $1. You can have that DVD for
back 10 years later.
I'm not an asshole like that, so I know that there are other people who want to watch the movie. But essentially for $1, you can have that movie for as long as you want, which is cool.
Shouldn't have told me
that.
Yeah.
Hey, but I gotta tell you guys, I gotta admit this on camera that I just only recently seen Blood In, Blood Out.
Oh, really?
Yup.
What'd you think as a judge?
I liked that movie, man. That movie was so good.
Really?
So good.
Alright, let me take your judge credentials.
No, check this out, bro. Check this out. I think if I had seen, cause look, check it out. Cause like even with Mi Vida Loca, bro. Like when I saw Mi Vida Loca, I went to the theater to see that when it first came out in the '90s, and it didn't really get me. But like over the years after I watched that movie, I love that movie, bro.
Yeah.
Because that's the only movie where to me it's like, it's not really about the story, but the culture. Like you never see no other movies really about that, like the culture. With the lowriders and the cholas and the cholos, and that whole culture embodied in a movie. You don't really see that. You maybe see a character like that or something like that, but not a whole movie that embodies that culture.
My honest opinion, bro.
Yeah.
Out of all the movies that touch on that subject.
Yeah.
Mi familia.
Me growing up.
Familia.
Me growing up.
Yeah.
You know, in the gangbanging 90s.
Yeah.
Being around it and being from LA. That movie had a lot of corny shit to
Is that
it.
right?
Blood and Blood Out. It was.
Was it? Okay.
Shout out to Blood and Blood Out. I know it's a cult classic.
Yeah.
But as far as being with the lingo and shit, like the time the dude, they're in prison and the dude's like, I don't want his pork chop. I was like, dude, this is fucking corny. The one that I feel was accurate with the real gangbang shit in the streets was Edward James
American Me?
Yeah, they had it down with the real fucking lingo.
Hey, but I thought the lingo was cool. Like before Homeboy went off to prison and Blood In, Blood Out, and they were all just three homies in the street.
Yeah,
I liked that because it was like I thought like they got the dialogue down. And the writer of Blood In, Blood Out is like he's a Latino from the street.
I'm sure.
The dude who directed it was a white guy, but he still I think did a good job. Like even with Vida Loca, it was a white lady who directed it, you know. But I think she still did a good job capturing the culture.
Yeah.
But you were feeling Blood In, Blood Out?
I felt it, but I thought there was a lot of porniness. Like, get down,
They tried too hard.
Yes,
Tried too hard. Okay.
Hey, me, you could do a good fucking Cisco and movies and shit, bro. You gotta think about that.
He's already in. He could just.
He's already judged.
Since you're the corn of the book.
Thumbs up to Blood In, Blood Out. Thumbs up.
I give it a 1 up and a 1 down.
Oh yeah, I gave it 2 thumbs up, man.
I just discovered that movie too.
The cast in that movie too. They got Ving Rhames is in it from Pulp Fiction, you know, and Mission Impossible.
In Blood and Blood Out?
Yeah, Ving Rhames is in it, bro.
Oh yeah, okay.
Billy Bob Thornton from Sling Blade.
Oh, he's in there with them in prison. Yeah,
too.
That's right. That's right.
You know who else is in it? The guy who played Biff in Back to the Future.
Oh shit, they got a cast of freaking
but they went on to have these big and of course what's his Benjamin Bratt. I always mess up his last name. Is it Pratt or Brad? Yeah. So he's in it. It's like
he knows those movies.
Yeah, and Danny Trejo is in it too. Yeah. So like when I was watching, I was like, oh shit, there goes this Delroy Lindo. He's a black actor, an African American actor. He's in it. So there's a lot of heads in it. Yeah. So I was like tripping out on that, and I was like, wow, how come I haven't seen this movie, man?
Yeah.
I don't think
it a 3 out of 5.
Yeah, I don't think it gets a lot of love. Like if you go to like Santa Fe Spring Swap Meet, I see it there, you know. But I don't think it gets enough love, man. That I think.
Oh. Yeah. Well, we're almost done anyway. Yeah. No, I'm not into those. The one I like is Mi Familia. That one.
You don't like Mi Vida Loca?
I've never seen it.
Mi Vida Loca?
Mi
Vida Loca from the one when they're at Echo Park?
Yeah!
That's another corny ass.
You guys don't like that, man. You guys got me, man.
Okay, look at it. I'm gonna tell you.
It makes all like the real homies look kind of fucking shit.
Yeah.
It's like you look at it like Blood In, Blood Out. Maybe that all you look at it, it's like
because they're having the 30th anniversary too of it. I'm going to tell you
the ones that hit it good.
Okay.
Boulevard Nights.
I haven't seen that one.
I
heard that.
That was made in the 70s.
Yeah.
Fucking Boulevard Nights, American Me, and
I seen Mi Familia too. Yeah. Wow. Oh man. Okay. All right. Well, I like art is beauty's in the eye of the beholder, right? Objective, right?
I agree. I always say that.
Yeah.
Right here, we're closing up. Is there anything I left out that you would both like to share?
I just would recommend anyone, if they get a chance and they're in California, in the LA area, in the Compton area, come out to the Hub City International Film Festival August 8th and 11th, and you can check out a lot of good films from locally as well as internationally. And check out my book on Amazon, The Good, the Bad, and the Chile. That's pretty much it for me.
I would really like you to come back for a full interview, because I know as a musician you guys have a totally different lifestyle and struggle that people don't know about. And I would love to get to know you in that aspect and put it out there. So
just like my new video coming out with the Figaro Flyers called Gambling Man, maybe in a couple weeks, and then my death metal band, Enemy Rifa. We're gonna be having some stuff. Shout out to Enemy Rifa, Lepra. We're gonna be doing some stuff with them soon. And just give us a follow. Instagram, Topflight Enemy, Instagram, and my man Philip
Victor. Yeah, Philip Victor on Instagram.
Yeah, and thank you for having me.
Yeah.
I didn't ask you, what would you give as an advice to that young kid that is playing in the garage right now and wants to hit it big?
Like he said, just do it, make time to do it. I know life could get hectic and there's a lot of stuff going on, but if you're not doing it, it's never gonna come to life. So make some time to do it, whatever, work on your craft, whatever that might be, a guitar, rapping, singing, and we got all the tools to do. You can pick up your phone and make yourself a music video nowadays, so
yeah,
it's a lot easier than it was back in the day. So yeah, just nothing to it but to do it.
All right, guys, so there you have it, firsthand from these two wonderful men that took the time. Take your notes. Nothing's impossible. Get on it and do it. All right, guys, so have a nice and safe weekend. Please don't drink and drive. He said he was guilty as charged, so I will point at him. No, for us, don't drink and drive, guys. It ain't worth it. Y pues pasen un muy bonito fin de semana, and this video will be up Monday. Give me time to edit, because yeah. All right, guys. Los adoro. Bye.
Peace.